we have for our next speaker? I know that we've got questions, and we're gonna go over the questions. We're gonna bring Leslie back for any of the questions. Do a recorded video. Sign up under rechargingyoursuperwoman.com, because we're going to take your questions and do another recorded session with Leslie and email it to you. I'm signing her up for it. She's voluntold. So I promise the questions are going to get answered, and we're not ignoring your questions, but keep asking them, type them up, and that's going to give us a reason to be able to bring her back. And who we have coming up next is Antoniette Roze, and she's going to have to educate me more, Michelle, on how to pronounce her name right. But she has a very powerful story of being diagnosed with cancer from 10 years old, only given 6 weeks to live. I think it's 6 weeks. 6 weeks. And you know, her powerful story. Antoniette, welcome to Recharging Your Superwoman. And
hello, Ava. Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, such a pleasure. I love that you were on the audience listening to Leslie, because it's the perfect intro to who you are.
It's insane, actually. As I get into my presentation, you'll see how insane it is. And for everybody watching, we had no idea, but it's all meant to be, right? Everything's right about this.
Yes, everything is right about it. So I'm gonna give you the time. You know, tell us your story, how you got to your message, and you know what you're doing right now, giving power. Michelle, you want to hear this? Michelle is also a practitioner. She gives power and voice to practitioners from clinic to stage, so that they can increase their impact. And I'm gonna give you the full stage. Tell us your story of how you came to your message today.
Okay, Ava, thank you for that introduction. So imagine that you're told that your 10-year-old child has 6 weeks, at best 6 weeks to live. I should have put that on Do Not Disturb. Imagine you are told your child has 6 weeks to live. That was my mom. She didn't tell me, but I could tell. I was the oldest child. I was her right-hand gal. We had some pretty tragic things that happened before that. Lost my father. So I was the oldest, and I was helping her. And I had been in pain for about a year. We were in and out of foster homes, and I was in pain. And when we finally came back together as a family, I didn't want to rock the boat. I just wanted our family together. And we went to get some school clothes at secondhand stores. And we would always go to the laundromat to wash the clothes before we could try them on. And I was really excited to try my clothes on. Went into the little laundromat bathroom, and all there was a pedestal sink and a little mirror right above it. So I pulled over the square trash can and toggled on it, stepped on it so I could see my clothes. When I came down, snap, something really bad happened. I came out of the bathroom. My mom just could see it on my face, took me to the hospital. That was the news. Within 2 days, I was shipped off to University Hospital for experimental treatment, because it was too late for the conventional treatment. That was a blessing. That was a God thing, because I proceeded to spend the next year in a children's ward with the lucky children whose cancers. There was a lot of children with cancer there. There was also kidney issues, anorexia, other issues. But the lucky cancer children and leukemia children who were going through the mainstream proven way of treating that cancer, it was really hard. It was really hard to witness what they went through. I was fine. I couldn't walk, but I could eat. I didn't have sores all over my face. I had my hair. I wasn't swollen and gray. I could swallow. My teeth weren't excruciating. My gums. It was really difficult to watch these little kids that had become my family during that year go from this adorable child to this unrecognizable person. And I remember thinking, why weren't their parents told that there might be some other ways that they could approach this? There's some other ways that they could deal with this. And that obviously the experimental alternative treatments worked, and sadly many of them didn't make it. So that stuck with me my entire life. And I began my career as a business management, in business management and computer information systems back in the 80s, and then was a manager of a major Christian magazine. And then when that magazine moved back to California, they had moved me to Texas from California. They moved back to California. I'm like, I'm not going back there. I'm staying right here. I can afford this cost of living. I was a single mom at the time. So I started my own company. And I opened a bed and breakfast. I opened a couple retreat centers and began having wellness retreats and wellness events. And they outgrew my space. So then we would rent community centers, outgrew that. And then they became some of the biggest of its kind during my time, wellness expos. I loved it, but at the same time, I hated it because these were events I wanted to go to, but I didn't get to enjoy because I was producing them. And what I realized I really, really loved was working with the practitioner, because my why was making sure that as many people as possible got the message that there are options, that they know all the options are laid on the table before they choose, make a massive decision for their well-being. And that's what I do now. I help practitioners scale beyond their clinics to get their message out in the biggest, best, broadest, most impactful way. And so whether you are a wellness practitioner or just an entrepreneur, the strategies that I teach are universal. They work for everyone as long as you follow the framework. And just as Leslie was saying, it begins with the end in mind. You begin with the end and you work backwards. So often we build it and hope we're going to get what we think we kind of want, right? Instead of figuring out exactly what we want and build those steps to actually get there. And when we're in that process, we're building this thing, whether you're a wellness practitioner building a clinic, or you're a busy mom building a side job, whatever it is that you're doing, it's depleting. It's very draining when you're working, and you're not really seeing those fruits of what it is you thought you'd be feeling or thought you'd be attaining. So I do have a little exercise that I would like to do with you. The first part is I'd love for you to get out a piece of paper and do not think. My number one request is that you don't even think, you just write. And so you've got at the top, non-negotiables. This was not planned. This is great. This was not planned as far as coordinating with Leslie. So write non-negotiables. On the left side, write must have, 1, 2, 3. On the right side, have not, 1, 2, 3. So must have not. Without thinking, what are your 3 most must-haves in your life? Non-negotiable. Those are the top 3 things. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Great. Now do the same thing on the left side. What are those 3 things you absolutely know you do not want in your life at all for any reason? That could be working Sundays. It could be working with people you don't enjoy working with, whatever it is. 3 things, don't think, right. 10 seconds. So there you have your life in a nutshell. There you have exactly what it is you need to build. Everything you build from now on filters through this list, and it will evolve. You revisit this list every 3 months to a year, but everything has to be filtered through this list. And if there's something not aligned, then it isn't right. There's something that has to change in that. Let's just use a chiropractor as an example. Say there's a chiropractor, he loves what he does. He absolutely loves helping people through the treatments that he gives them one-to-one. But he also is maybe in his 50s, having grandchildren. He wants a week off a month, right? To go and travel, see his grandchildren, or just relax. He's paid his dues. He's going to have to build a practice that allows him a week off a month. And to do that, he's going to have to either have a protege, a team-led business, or he's going to have to raise his prices so he can shut his doors for a week and not worry about losing that income. Or he can actually create a high level of consulting aspect of his practice where he could be anywhere and consult through telephone or video or that kind of thing. So there's different ways that we can create a plan for him. But had he not had this clear in his mind, he just think, I'm going to build the practice and hope maybe once a year I can get away from my practice 2 weeks, right? When you've got it clear what the bleep you want to do, you want at the end, that ultimate outcome, when you have your ultimate outcome as the peak of your vision versus I'm going to have to work to get somewhere. No, you're already there in your mind and in your heart. You are already there, and everything you do leads to that. So I've got this little worksheet. I'm going to put it on the screen. If you can't download it, it is okay, because I'm going to show it to you too, so you can actually build it out, and I'll give you my email address and email it to you. But you should be able to access it there. You don't even have to give me your email address or anything. Can I get share privilege for my screen? Ava, if you're talking to me, you're mute.
Yes. I was just saying that was so powerful. That's so powerful. I loved what you just prefaced. Look at that. I've got mine. It's kind of like scratched up, but yes, that made it clear. Perfect. So you made us do 3, right?
Just 3.
And on that,
Ava.
Yeah, we're going to work on that together.
Is there a shared screen or?
Yeah, it won't let me. It says it's disabled.
Yes. So let me just make her host. And then
disabled.
So while you're doing that, Antoniette, I wanted to thank you very much for what you had to say. And you would think that we're all working together and we all said, okay, Dr. Jill, you talk about this, and Leslie, you talk about this, and then Antoniette, you bring in your awesome non-negotiable list. How beautiful. And now I'm going to add something on top of that. And I'm gonna pass this link on to a dear friend of mine who is that chiropractor that you're talking about, and he is in that situation, wildly successful, and he needs an Antoniette in his life. So thank you very much. I just can't wait to connect him with you. Oh, Ava, the mic is yours.
Oh, we've got Antoniette back. Thank you so much.
Here we go. Okay, so this is your worksheet. Are you guys seeing this? Okay, let me expand it if it'll let me. So essentially with that list, we're going to start here at the top. This is the pinnacle peak of everything that you want. So what we're going to stop doing is being this little guy down here, circling the mountain. What's the best way up? What's the best way up? Should I take this way? Should I go that way? And I know that we're all human. We've all had many false starts. We've all started to work on something we thought was going to be great, and it didn't turn out to be what we thought it was going to be, right? So let's stop taking that meandering trail and let's just take that direct route to the peak. So the way to do that, the only way to do that, is to figure out what's at the peak first, and then we know the path to get there. So I'll let you do this. This does take a little bit more thought. I'll let you do this on your own. You don't have to fill it out now. The version I gave you gives you one that you can print out and one that you can fill out digitally. So essentially, right here is what your pinnacle peak is. And I'd like for you to do this for your life and for your career and business, and make it one. We are one being. We are one person. So if those two aren't aligned, if you're going to create all these things in your professional life and then all these things in your personal life, and they don't align, then you're out of sync and nothing's going to flow. So when you create them both, you see them side by side, you can see if one serves the other, if they both align. So essentially, let's just say it's for your personal life. So at this pinnacle peak, you'd say, I have this much freedom in my time, location, and income. This is how much freedom I have in my time, location, and freedom. This is the kind of legacy that I'm leaving. And this is my perfect average day, my perfect average week, my perfect average year, right? Where there's going to be exceptions in there, but what's that perfect average? So that goes here. Same with your business. This is the impact I'm making. This is the legacy I'm leaving. This is the bottom line that I'm making. And these are the freedoms that I have, even professionally. And then, of course, that's got to align with your personal life. Okay, now we can go down here to this guy. Where are you right now in relation to where it is that you want to be? And here's the gap. These 2 steps here. It could be 2 steps, it could be 3 steps, but this is the bridge. So number 1, to get 1 step closer to that pinnacle peak, these are some changes that are going to have to take place in my life. I'm going to need to hire a housekeeper. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to do 1, 2, 3, right? Or if it's on the professional side, I'm going to have to start bringing up a protege or create a team-led company. And these are some of the steps that I'm going to have to do that. Then you get to the next level, new devils, right? Each time you go to a new level, there's that level has its own set of opportunities to find solutions to, right? No problems. They're all just opportunities to create solutions for. So you've got that going, and you decide what those steps will be to get you to that pinnacle peak. And then I want you to do this every six months to a year, because once you get here and you soak in it and you live in it, then things are going to change for you even more. Let's say you get that team-led company, and all of a sudden you are making 5 times more than you ever dreamed possible. Your overhead has reduced, your income has increased, and now there are some real heartfelt projects you want to get up off the ground. You want to create a school for children who are underprivileged, or you want to make sure that nobody in your town goes hungry. So you revisit this model and do it all over again. And then that leads you to this. So this gives you the framework in your personal life and in your professional life of putting the dollar signs to it. Now, this isn't all about money, but money, none of us want money. We can be on some stranded island somewhere with a big mountain of money. That means nothing, right? Because it's not going to get us what we want. We want what we want. We want what money gets us. So people say, oh, I want to make this amount of money. No, you want to be able to take these vacations, which require a certain amount of money. I say, what's a vacation? Your life should be a vacation. If you're doing what you love, then your life is a vacation. You don't need to take a vacation from a life that you love. But that's a whole nother talk. So we have dollar signs on here, but just please understand that that's not what it's all about. That's not the bottom line. That's just the tool that gets us what it is that we want. So right here is free. So for this, let's say it's for your business. What are some of the free value-rich content and ways of service that you can give so that people begin to know, like, trust, and seek you out? People need to know, like, and trust you, and they will become raving fans and followers for the rest of your life. And that's going to happen down here when they really don't know exactly who you are, and you're just pouring into them and not asking anything back. This room is full of those people. Dr. Jill, Michelle, Ava, this event, right? Leslie, they all just pour. They don't, with that, before $1 is required. There's no dollars required. There's invitations to go to the next level with us, right? But there's no dollar required. We're still going to pour into you as if you're a top client. So what are some of those generous? You can never give too much. People are like, oh, I'm just going to give all my stuff away. You know, people who, it's the law of reciprocation. If you pour into someone, they're going to want more of you, and they're going to want guaranteed more of you. So never feel like you're going to give away too much. So that's this. We're talking business. And then step 2, offer something, just a real entry level something that they can do with you, whether it's a group workshop, maybe one group workshop every 2 months for a year. And it comes in at a pretty low ticket price. Maybe let's just say $997 for the year to have this workshop with you once every 2 months, whatever it is that you decide, which is going to be based on the previous slide, right? And then you take them to the next level. And then you get those who are just going to dive in both feet, and they don't even care what you charge. They're already in. They're like, where's the application before you even say the price? And those are the people that you really get to make some transformative investments into, because your time is being compensated so that you can give them that level of attention, to lock arms with them and get them to the next place that they need to be. So essentially, you are stair stepping them. Let me just tell you what mine are. I give a lot of free content and group coaching. My second step is a 3-day program, 3-day virtual event, which I'm going to share with you guys when I get to my offer part. Very low ticket, $97 to get into the event if you want general admission. So very easy way. I give everything. You can walk away from my 3-day event and have everything that I have, along with top practitioners and their business strategies, and go and do it on your own. You don't ever need to pay me another dime, and you have everything that you need. And then I have my next level program is it's called my core program. You can work with me for a year. I explain that at the event. And then this is a very elite level where we go on destination retreats together. For me, destination retreats together, and really they're called strategy retreats, strategic retreats, and we just dive into that next level strategic area of their business. So anyhow, I'm going to stop sharing so we can get face to face again. Let's see here.
That is just so, in a nutshell, like in 15 minutes, pretty much, you've given out a blueprint, to be able to just, kind of like scale to your mountaintop, little by little, and be able to get to your peak, because you know what your peak looks like. A lot of us kind of like keep circling around. Like Michelle, I'm going to bring Michelle up too, because Michelle is like the detail-oriented part of this interviewer. I'm like the raw-rider. Wanted to know what your thoughts are and any questions. Thank you so much, Antoniette. And thank you for your offer. We're just so grateful that you're bringing your expertise into this room.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I love to hike. So pretty much all of the analogies that I create have to do with water. I have another presentation that has all to do with a river or mountains or streams or flowers, because that's my heart. That's my personality. And something I really want to encourage people, especially entrepreneurs, is people do not buy products. They buy people. People buy you. You already have everything you need, because what someone is purchasing is that time with you. Nobody else has your experience. Nobody else has your approach. Nobody else has your way of filtering and thinking through, and nobody else has your way of communicating. So your right fit people come to you because of who you are, not because of some shiny object that you're selling or some spiffed up program that you've put together. You can create the most amazing program and not get one person to sign up because they haven't yet had that understanding of who you are and connected with that.
Well, Antoniette, I have a few things that I want to share. First of all, thank you. Thank you for pouring into us and really showing people, like Ava said, the blueprint to your pinnacle of success. There's a couple of things that I really wanted to highlight and speak about with you. One of the things is a quote that I'm probably going to make a meme out of you, and that's "New level, new devils." I thought that was fascinating. I don't know if you ever read Neil Gaiman's or seen Neil Gaiman's series Lucifer. But, Lucifer the Devil, you can see on Netflix or whatever, but he never lies. This character never lies. He never has to. He just has to tell you the truth. And it tends to be the humans, what they do with the truth. And so, that is the truth, though, isn't it? As you reach the next level, there's going to be new devils, and that's going to face you with the truth. And what I see from you is that you help people with those truths and how to get them to work with it towards their higher purpose, which is that pinnacle, correct? Another thing,
right.
Oh, it's beautiful. And another quote that I love of yours is that people do not buy products, they buy people. And that is so fascinating. Talk about the law of attraction, how things work. We had Dr. Jill, then we had Leslie, and now we have Antoniette talking about this theme. Coming up, we're going to have Justine Pagroski, who is she's a $1 million brander, and she actually hosted a huge event among some of the top branders and advertising agents in the world. It was an international event. And everything that they said is, wow, luxury brands are having a hard time. They're having a hard time because they're not relating to people, and people want to connect. They want that authenticity. And I thought to myself, how interesting. Antoniette is showing people how for people to take their authentic self as to, what is that, Ava, that Dr. Jill says, you are, is it you are enough, or, please,
everything about you is just right. Is doing it right.
Everything about you is just right. And here you are you're taking that person. Yes, everything about you is just right. And let's teach you how to be that person that people want to connect with. Can I ask you one question though? I wanted to talk about the pinnacle. You talked about the retreats or the destinations where you're talking strategy. Could you just, I don't want you to give away your secret sauce, but could you just paint us a picture as to what that experience is about and what that's like for people when they get to that point?
You bet. But I first want to, just because I don't want to claim anything that isn't mine. Some of those quotes, the new level, new devil, I heard along the way, and I don't even know exactly where. But it resonated with me. It stuck with me. So you'll hear things along the way that stick with you. I sometimes try to, write down where I heard it from. But it resonated with me, and then it becomes your own, and it becomes part of how you communicate. So I just want to make that clear. And I so appreciate you, Michelle. Oh my gosh, this room is just amazing. So my pinnacle program is application only, and it's very high level innovators. And essentially we come together for about 5 days. My destination of choice is Lake Tahoe. That's my favorite place on earth, but we all vote on it. And it's about 5 to 7 of us, a really small group, 10 max, because there's just a lot that goes into each person, because they're already high performers, high achievers. They've got a lot going for themselves. And we're just really refining and maybe pivoting a little bit, because their desires have changed. Their non-negotiables have changed. So now they've got to pivot this great, big, gigantic thing so that everybody is served in the process. So we just lay it out on the table. You've got all of these, you've got my mind, but you've got all of these other curated, amazing minds that come together. And you basically have crowdsourced wisdom all at one table, pouring into you, your company, and your life's legacy and goals. So it's really pretty incredible. Yeah.
Wow. And Lake Tahoe, it's actually, we call it our backyard here. So what a beautiful destination. It's one of my favorite things to do whenever I get a chance to get around there. You certainly have picked an amazing location for this because of that beautiful water. It seems like water is very important to you. And that blue alpine pure lake really reminded me of a metaphor about what you just did. I mentioned quotes, and you said, "Hey, that didn't come from me," but I know it came from somebody. If I could remember, I would give that to you. I'm paraphrasing you, of course, and that speaks to the quality and the purity of the message. And if we do this more often, where we thread together and we let people see where that knowledge is, even though we're sharing it, it shows that you're a pure source. That's where I'm going with. And I really want to thank you. And I hope that our watchers, as they're here in our beautiful audience and listening lounge, that they get this about the quality of your work also comes from a pure source of information, because you're not adulterating it and claiming it as all yours. We know that we're collective here, but in order to really get that power behind the message, the power behind your blueprint, we've got to keep that pure. And I just want to thank you so much for your integrity, because I don't know, Ava, I know that probably was one of the things that you came up with when you curated this list of experts here, like Antoniette. The purity of source and your integrity, it really speaks about it. And I just can't wait to delve in deeper with these exercises. You said to do it every 2 weeks, is that correct?
No, 6 months to a year.
6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Oops, I'm glad I clarified that one.
So on a cellular level, we become a new being in a sort in 3 months. right? So anytime you start a new diet or you start to try to like a new food, give yourself 3 months. Or if you get onto a new vitamin regimen or start working out, people usually stop at a month because they're like, oh, this isn't working. It takes 3 months for your body to really accept it. 6 months, it gets locked in. So anytime you start a new habit or set of routines, give yourself 6 months to really see that through, and then reassess at that 6 month, reassess and refine at that 6 month mark to move forward to the next step.
Wow, that is so beautiful. And thank you again. And once again, your integrity again, you're referring to that study that was done at Oxford University about how habits are really made. And what we learned is it's not 21 days, people. It's actually 67 days, or what we say 68 days, but then you have to put it into action. And as you're listening here, Antoniette is all about how to show you how to take that action. So I think it's amazing. How do we reach you, though, when we have these questions? How do we take action in connecting with you?
So on the handout, on that link, the third page has my phone number and our team address. So you can reach out to us that way. I also included, for your guys' audience, anybody who is in the health and wellness field who wants to come to my 3-day event, which is in just 2 weeks, instead, and I want to give them a VIP ticket because that gives them all of the recordings, gives them 2 tickets instead of 1 ticket, so they can bring their right-hand person or another practitioner buddy with them. So basically a $588 value I'm giving you for $97 with the code that I gave you, and you can attend all 3 days. And during that 3 days, we outline the entire program, and that's where I make the offer to lock arms with me and work with me and a team of amazing people for a year to get that plan actualized. So so you can reach me that way. I even set a timer so I wouldn't go over. Isn't that great? Because I do go over. So essentially, you can reach me at team@wellnessproductionsco.com. And if you're able to download that, and I'll put it in the chat here in a moment, but if you're able to download that document, it's in there as well.
So good. Thank you so much, Antoniette. Yes, and so I know that for your free offer, normally the entrance is $97, right? But you're allowing us to come for free.
Normally, the VIP ticket is $294 each. So I'm giving you 2 of those.
Yes.
For $97. Yeah.
Good. Okay. What a deal. What a deal. Thank you so much, Antoniette. Well,
thank you for having me, and thank you for putting on this amazing event. This is really an important event.
We could almost take you for an interview. Thank you so much.